So this problem, again, we're just going to read through it. You need to get a computer fixed. You took it to the repair shop. The technician at the store worked on the computer for 5.25 hours and charged you $185 for parts. The total was $490.55. So we will write and solve an equation which can be used to determine X, cost of the labor per hour. So they are telling us here at the very end, please use X as your variable, and that will be the cost of the labor per hour. Now, the other value that's associated with the labor is the time they spent laboring on the computer. That's the 5.25 hours. That right there is the cost, which is going to be the labor. Okay, so we do have a cost in labor. We also have the cost of the parts. So again, we're going to have to pay for the parts, but it is a cost. So the cost of the parts, $185. In fact, I'll change that. That's a cost for the parts. And then the total, they said $490.55. Again, that is a total. It says a total, but I'm just emphasizing that we know that that is a total. So when we set up the equation, we know that the total, well, it's just a total. But the costs, we have the two costs. We have the parts, and we have the labor. So I'm going to look at labor, and then I will add the cost of the parts. Okay, so adding those two together will give me the total for the costs, and then of course the total was just by itself, its own total. All right, well, how much was the labor? We don't know. All we know about it is that it's X. That's what we're trying to figure out in this problem. But what we do know is that X is the cost per every 1 hour, and that the technician worked for 5.25 hours. So the total for the labor will be 5.25 times the value of X. The parts were $185, and then the total, it says, was $490.55. So if I add the costs together, then I get the total, as we see there. So that would be the equation, which again is its own answer on the assignment. I'm going to drop this though, so that I can work with one of them. And now I can use principles of equality to solve, just like we did those other ones, and also the bell work. So I'm going to subtract 185 from both sides. You may have noticed that the way that I have this set up, I have the X term first and then the flat cost. It doesn't matter which way you set that up, so just know it doesn't matter. Well, what will this do? Well, what we just did, what will it do? Well, it allows us to take the 5.25 and drop it, which is what we want. We want it to be by itself, and then the 185 minus 185, yeah, that's 0. So then this would equal, I gotta go to my calculator here, 490.55 minus 185, enter, and it shows me that just the cost for the labor was $305.55. But again, we don't know how much the cost is for every one of those hours. We just know that they worked for 5.25 hours. So next up, we're going to make this a 1x and not a 5.25x. So to do that, we divide the coefficient, 5.25, by itself. And if we do it on one side of the equation, we must do it on the other side as well. So of course, 5.25 divided by 5.25 is 1. That's what we wanted. We forced that to happen. Now I go to my calculator, 305.55 divided by 5.25, and I get 58.2. Now you need to be careful about your labels, because when I did this originally, I put gig. I think I put what did I put? I think you put hours. But again, you'll notice that it's not how many hours that the technician worked. So you need to go back and just double check. Don't make the same mistake I did. It's X is the cost. So when you look at this, it's actually a dollar sign right there. So I'm going to show it as a full dollars and cents right here, $58.20. And if you really wanted to be thorough, you'd write per hour. But I probably would never require that if you're doing this by hand. All right, but this gives us the equation. This gives us the equation here at the top. And then we also have the solution at the bottom. Will it work? Well, 55.25 times 58.2 plus 185. Yeah, that'll work. Now, just one last thing before we finish up here. We got the x. Again, if you misplace the x maybe with the 185, you could solve this correctly, but it's not the correct answer because the equation is incorrect. So you may have the skills to solve these, but you need to have now the skills to set these up.